Standard 10th from Science to Subject. The lesson that I'm going to explain today is lesson number 7, Introduction to Microbiology. We'll understand what this topic is about and then we'll start with the actual chapter. So, the name of the chapter is Introduction to Microbiology. Microbiology is a branch of science where microorganisms are studied. So, microbiology is study about microorganisms. Now, what are microorganisms? Microorganisms are small living organisms, very small, which we cannot see with our naked eyes. We use microscope to observe them. So, microorganisms are of two types, prokaryotic and eukaryotic. Prokaryotic means whose cells are not very well developed, they have very simple structure of cells. Eukaryotes have well developed, more developed cells. So, microorganisms are of both the types, prokaryotic and eukaryotic. Try to remember these terms that I have explained you because it is not given separately in the textbook. Now in microbiology, when microorganisms are studied, what is studied about them is the harmful effects of microorganisms on human beings and plants, and also the uses. Is the microorganism useful to us? If yes, then more detailed study is carried out about that microorganism. So useful and harmful microorganisms are studied in microbiology. I'll give you some examples of uses. When you talk about useful microorganisms, how these microorganisms or microbes are useful to us. Microorganisms bring about fermentation of milk. That means they convert milk into curd. This process is done because of some useful microorganisms. Then the microorganisms are also useful in making cheese, in cheese production, other fermented products and vaccines. These are a few useful roles of useful microorganisms. We are going to see all them in detail later on. What are the harmful effects of microorganisms? When you talk about harmful effects of microorganisms, the first thing that comes to our mind is they cause diseases, they give us illness, right? There are some more other harmful effects of microorganisms. They spoil our food, they spoil our materials like leather. The fungus grows very easily during rainy season in moist places, and it spoils almost all the material. So these are the harmful effects of microorganisms. Now talking about microbiology, I told you it is a branch of science where we study microorganisms. So when you talk about microbiology, microbiology has two branches. There are two main branches of microbiology. The first is applied microbiology and the second is industrial microbiology.